This week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet.
Featured this week with our sponsor, we have the original Sherlock Holmes with his Baker Street Irregulars from Baskerville Productions, which is for 1 to 4 inspectors looking to outwit Sherlock Holmes and their fellow detectives by cleaning up the streets of London in about 30 to 45 minutes, as players will be drafting the right evidence cards and using sets of them to arrest those villains before the other inspectors can steal all their glory. Hello, fellow gamers. Welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhoundd and
DrGloryhogg.
You have to do it when I point to you.
This one time I was riding my bike and no more stories?
No more story time from you right now, Dr. Gloryhogg. It did not go exactly well last night.
I think it went quite well. There was bikes, awesome jumping, ramps. It was all kinds of good stuff.
It was an interesting playthrough of quirky circuits, everyone. Very, very interesting.
See, Pat wants more
please.
Stories. I agree.
That's what our fireside chat is for.
And I'm glad Battlecry showed up. I mean, I guess late is better than not at all.
Hello to our chat today. We have Games of Fire in chat. We have Battlecry, Kabuki Kid, Petter, Games of Fire. Thanks so much for joining us all today. We really appreciate you coming to hang out with us. I also like that Petter is going to use our music for their phone, you know? Like, that's fantastic.
Well, Battlecry took a picture of me doing this, like, and then the Breakfast Club saying underneath it, and he made that his computer screensaver, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I'm assuming. I did start off the show by saying I'm too iconic for traditional media, and then had to go into a random, like, here's a random thought I have about when I was 8 or something.
Yeah, for those of you that missed the Quirky Circuits playthrough, it's a gem to go back and watch, because I had to leave midstream.
She had to leave, and I thought, man, you know what's would be bad if she's gone for like 10 minutes, so maybe I'll take the stream back over and tell a story that's off the top of my head. Unfortunately, wasn't my best story, and I kind of panicked a little bit. I did a little bit of panic talking, and I realized that I do better with another person, and that if I'm going to do solo stuff, I better be like at least showcasing a game or doing something, but I had nothing to show, and I had to come up with random thoughts, and they were not my best random thoughts.
The circuits weren't the only things that were quirky. That's 100% it right there. It was, you could just probably see Dr. Gloryhogg like sweating on camera, like, oh God, what do I do?
It did get hot. It did get hot. I don't, I do, like, people have always told me that I would be a good stand-up comedian, right? Because I have comedic timing. But I always explain that I'm only good, like, in situational comedy. Like, in the middle of a work meeting, I've got all kinds of hilarious jokes. Like, in the middle of a show or in the middle of us playing a board game, I've got a bazillion jokes that are really on point, but I have to have something to play off of. I can't just sit and be like,
no.
So this one time, I just don't have those types of jokes.
What you're saying is that you're only really funny in the most inappropriate of situations, is what it is.
Yeah, like, we had to come up with a song for my work, right? So my work wanted us to come up with a song and then submit it for, like, this team meeting we had. And the only songs I could think of were, like, Lonely Island's Throw It on the Ground, Like a Boss. I came up with a song that's like the fight song for a different university that we're in like steeply competitive with, and I was like, they'll probably enjoy this if I play the fight song for a different company that we're in competition with. And finally, she had to steer me in the right direction, because I could not think of an appropriate song to submit.
Kabuki Kid, exactly. The king of awkward humor, and that's totally it. But
that's true.
You know what? It works for the show.
I've been told many a times that I am disruptive for a meeting.
It works for the show. So let's get started today, because we have a ton of...
I have perseverance. What about you?
Amazing. I got perseverance. How about you?
I bet you perseverance smells like Teen Spirit.
Do you think so? Probably. It would go along really well with a Teen Spirit song.
Perseverance. We're so good at this.
Yeah, I mean... That's basically the lyrics right there. You just have to say perseverance really, really loud whenever you're going through. Yeah.
And then you mumble some stuff.
And then you're good.
And I mean, is my hair long enough now to do it?
It's getting close. I think it's getting close. You're almost there.
Okay. All right, we're starting up a grunge band.
So Perseverance is Castaway Chronicles is by Mindclash Games. This is for 1 to 4 players. It's going to last about 80 to 180 minutes. Now, this is essentially 2 different games that you're going to be playing.
Well, it is 2 completely different games with a shared theme.
Absolutely.
And a shared mechanics. About 60% of the mechanics are the same.
Shared mechanics, shared theme, and you will be evolving as you kind of go through it, where in this beginning portion here, you're kind of fending off dinosaurs in order to win the game, and in the second, game, you're basically building up your village that you have now.
Yeah, you realize that you're stranded, you're not going to get help, and so you're like, well, now we need to figure out civilization. We need to civilize this land, we need to explore, set up some type of government, all the really boring parts of life. But it may be fun in a game.
Who remembers that Teen Spirit? Who remembers what Teen Spirit smelled like?
It's like those scratch-off stickers, right? You would scratch them like, root beer.
Smelled like grunge and, I don't know, mumbling.
I feel like it would smell a little bit like, whenever I heard of that, I thought, man, if I had to smell Teen Spirit, I would imagine it smelled like sweaty gym socks.
The best ever is Weird Al Yankovic's, like, rendition of it is the best. If you haven't seen that, you need to go see it. It's amazing.
Yeah, Weird Al does some really good stuff.
But this game is going to be a big box Euro style game, and
well, the first one's almost like a survival horror type game where you've got like these like almost like a zombie game, right? Of dinosaurs coming at you.
It reminded me of like a Dead of Winter style game in that first portion there, because you're ramping up.
Defending the beachhead.
Yes, and you're defending all those little areas.
It's basically a war game set in the West.
No.
Oh, what?
No. Whereas this one here, I feel like you're trying to, I mean, neither you're working together, but you're not in all of them, because you're still trying to get your individual stuff.
Well, I think it's like real life, right? Like, I don't want to be eaten by a dinosaur, but I still also want more money than you. Does that make sense? Now, not you personally, because you're my wife, but in general, I think that's how most of life works, where you're like, I don't want other people to be like just senselessly murdered, but I also want to have a nicer house than them.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Teen Spirit deodorant. That's 100% true, Kabuki. Oh my gosh, they did have one like that. Holy cow.
And yes, you can ride anything once.
So
Maybe not successfully, but you can do it once, Petter.
Oh yeah, and in the second portion of this, so in the first one, you're like fighting back the dinosaurs, and then the second one, you're like using the dinosaurs to like help you, which I thought was really interesting as well. So
right, they're part of the mechanics. Like sometimes like catching them, or like, because you're getting like scientific data off of them. So it gets very much like, it starts off like kind of like a survival game, and then the second game really feels almost like a terraforming game, right? Where you're like, we're on the land, we're trying to set up bases, we're trying to do scientific endeavors, we're exploring, we're searching. It's almost like you land on a brand new planet, not just like a different island.
How do you feel about this game, about being introduced to two heavy games that come as one big box set? Like, and I want to know in chat, what do you guys think about this? Because this is very interesting, because they're basically planning episode 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in this. So there's going to be another big box set, but they're sharing the same mechanics. It's almost like a Century Spice Road-ish thing if they were all like more connected, I feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
where they're trying to plan.
Just have a similar kind of theme, and you can play them together, but they're not they don't share a lot of the same mechanics.
But they're not exact or anything, you know, but they do have like...
Some components are shared.
A lot of the same theme and some of the same mechanics to it and everything.
This one's more connected.
Right.
Well, it's weird. It's like, how often do you go buy a movie like that, where you buy like, I'm just gonna use Deadpool, right? Like, how often do you go without seeing Deadpool and not really knowing much about Deadpool? Do you buy Deadpool 1 and then Deadpool 2? And that might be a bad example, because I know you like Deadpool. True. But like, it's very rare that you would go buy a 2-movie set. You know what this game reminds me of, honestly, is most games are like The Hobbit. It's a contained universe. It's one book, right?
Right.
And you get to experience the whole game, and all the fun of it comes out of that one book. This seems like they're trying to do like a Lord of the Rings thing, where it is an extended, long, lifestyle game type of thing, where you're like, you could go enjoy The Hobbit as a one-time game, or you can do the Lord of the Rings, where you're going to spend 2 games just walking, and walking. That's what you do in Lord of the Rings. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, do you want a 2-hour movie, or do you want an 8-hour movie that's spread out over 3 games?
Now, as for the actual price on this, the price for this is really great. I mean, I think it's priced really well. It's $95 for, you're getting 2 games for that for $95. It includes a lot of dice in it that you're going to have to be using for your dice placement. Mm-hmm. And then $135 for a game with all the miniatures and everything, and then like metal trackers,
tokens,
squishy little berry tokens. Like, the price point for this is really, really good. Like,
it's surprisingly good. And it's from the team that made, like, Feudum and, like, Anachrony and a lot of really big, longer Euros. So I guess it really just determines on... Well, it's really just based off of your play style and your gaming group, right? So, like, Gloomhaven is great, but it's hard for us to get to the table still, because it is a longer game. And the way we do things, we have to kind of go through a lot of different games. So 2 to 3 hour games... Plus, if we're learning it, it's going to be like, I mean, I know Heavy Cardboard was talking about how it was an hour to teach it.
Oh my
So
goodness.
just straight up, it took him an hour to teach it. Now, he was doing it remote with 2 other people, and they couldn't see the whole board, right? Because he had to kind of move stuff around. He was manipulating all 3 characters around the game and everything. But, I mean, the Heavy Cardboard playthrough was 5 hours for both the first one and the second one.
I think if you're 100% into heavy games, this is going to be for you because it's going to be an amazing group of games that they're putting together that all share the same sort of mechanics and are all linked together and have some sort of story involved in them as you cross over them. Like, this is going to be an amazing, expansive, like, eventually 4-box, like, game.
Right.
You know, this is going to be super great.
Well, it's like a legacy game, except you're not tearing up stuff. And the fact that you can play this multiple times and you're taking your character through multiple things. So think of almost like the legacy of Scythe, the Scythe legacy game, where you weren't destroying things, but you were getting titles and bonuses and upgrades that carry to the next game. So it reminds me of Rise of Fenris, the Scythe legacy game.
So let's see here. Petter says, this is weird in terms of how it's split into 2 for me. It's not a bad thing, but also it doesn't make me want it more.
It is a weird selling point.
And then Luke says, I think there might be too much overlap between the first 2 games for me. It might be too long complex for my game groups, although that might be true about Mindclash games in general. That's true. So Mindclash games is known for making
longer,
big box, complex games. Absolutely. But
when we say complex, not complex just for the sake of complexity,
No.
but they are for someone that wants to take 6 actions to do a thing, right? Like we've talked about it. She is much more likely to want to play a game, like a Lacerda game, that's like, I have to do 6 things to move this meeple. And I don't. I want to play a game where I can do 6 things. I want to move this meeple here and do this thing over here, which triggers this. I like triggering, like different engine building things where you like
those little combos.
Where you like slow incremental buildups that then make a thing happen. And I don't like that as much as like I like doing a bunch of little things that become a big thing versus a bunch of little things that becomes a thing. If that makes sense to anybody.
I think that they did an excellent job here. So let's see here. Games of Fire says, I am so intrigued by this one, but I don't think my game group would play it with me. Therefore, it's not worth the money for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue with us. I feel like it's great, and I think we will play it, but I don't see it being part of our normal, everyday, like, our games that we always like, oh man, we need to go back and play this game, because I think it'll be too long for that, and I just don't see us playing it enough to get the full enjoyment out of it. So I'd rather just get a bite-sized movie than this trilogy, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are unable to play huge, expansive games all the time. Like, we actually have to plan for that. We have to sit down and be like, all right, this weekend we're going to do all this expansive game.
Right.
We're going to play it all weekend.
Like a 3-day weekend, we might say, okay, well, we're going to play like Wasteland Express. And once we play it once, we're going to play it 3 times in a row because we've got it out and set up. We know it's a 2-ish hour game, about an hour and a half with us if we play, because we've played it multiple times. But, you know, we know we have to plan it ahead. Or like a legacy game, we plan it ahead. I don't know if, as much as I want to play this game, I just don't know if I currently have the time to just sit here and play this with still having a full-time job.
David says, a heavier take of Jaws. Jaws did 2 acts very well. You know what? That's funny. I thought of that too, David. So not sure how it would work with a heavy game. I thought of that immediately whenever I was looking at this game because I was like, oh, this is exactly like the sort of way that they did Jaws because you're doing 2 kind of completely different things, you know? Yeah, as you're going through. But like, it's still all interconnected and everything.
With Jaws, you did, like, the hidden movement thing.
But Jaws was, like, super fast, though.
Right.
Yeah.
A hidden movement thing, and then you switched to, like, kind of like the actual battle. And that it made sense thematically because of the movie, and it made sense because it was still, like, I think under an hour-ish whenever you played it out. So.
But I think if you are a heavy gamer, you're going to love this game. You're going to love the extra stuff that it brings to it with it being all interconnected. And if you are into having a shorter game, they do have introduction scenarios that you can play. And from what I'm seeing, the introduction scenarios are not like, oh, we lose all of these mechanics and everything. They just kind of help with making the game a little bit shorter for everyone with that. So it's a game with a lot of options. That's what I got to say,
well,
okay?
This is what we talked about before. It's almost like a big miniatures game, like a Gloomhaven or a Folklore or something like that. It's almost like a lifestyle game where you could very easily, especially because there's 2 more episodes coming out. Yeah. So that means there's going to be 4 total longer Euro-y style games. That it's a game that if you and your group love it, you're going to play it all the time. And you can play this for weeks and months and years.
And not get bored of it, and it's going to change.
Right. But if you're somebody like us that you kind of want to have a nice, enjoyable experience and then be able to put it back on the shelf and then bring it out later and do it, I don't think this will fit that. Because I think with the learning time and everything that if you're not going to be playing this multiple times in a shorter period of time, people are gonna lose interest in it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's fair. Absolutely.
This is the big long trilogy of games, not a short little movie.
It looks fantastic, though. I wish I had the time to play it.
What's
and
up,
that's
Alan?
the thing. Because
Yes, I agree.
I love long, slow-burning games. I love games like that. And
Yeah,
I
you
just
get mad
wish...
at any game that ends.
Yes.
You get mad at any game that I can trigger the end because I'll trigger it 30 minutes faster than the game says you can.
Yeah, and I just really wish that I had the time to devote to this because I think it's going to be amazing, everyone. Like, I'm so excited.
I triggered Wasteland Express ending in like 50 minutes once, and she was like, what the poop? It's supposed to be a 2-hour game. And I was like, nope, triggered, we're done.
They did an excellent job with the components. Everything looks so pretty in it. It's priced extremely well for being 2 individual games with all those pieces in it and everything. Like, they just did a fantastic job. Like, great job, Mindclash Games. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
I would 100% back this if I knew I was going to have the time to get it to my table. And that's just how it is.
Right, and if our gaming group swung that way. Because also to think the people in our gaming group are people like Greg and Dan from Game Boy Geek and like Alex.
Right,
and
who are all...
also reviewers usually.
Yeah.
So they're also need to play a game a couple times.
Get them in and out really fast.
But they can't sit down and spend 6 weekends on one game.
However, I do want to let everybody know that this particular game, I don't think is going to go heavy mass market with this one here. Yeah, so if you are interested in this, make sure to back it so you do get it and you don't end up having to look around for it at the secondhand market.
It does
or just think about that before you decide on your purchase for this.
Right, based off of it did sound like they're going to sell the deluxe version until they run out of them, which they're not probably going to make that many extra. And then the retail version, or I'm sorry, the regular version, they'll have for sale directly. Yeah. But they'll bring it into conventions. But I mean, when's there going to be another convention? That's a whole other story. Well, but once they run out, it'll probably be kind of like 7th Continent. Well, you have to wait till they do like another campaign to do the reprints.
Which that's another thing to think about from companies that are saying that we're only going to offer X amount of games per our own shop, like in our own shop. Because I know with like Steve Jackson Games and stuff, there's been several games that have sold out immediately because they didn't plan for as many people wanting them and they were only selling them from their shop and they know that they're not going to conventions and they're not going to be selling them at conventions. So companies might be cutting back on the amount of games that they're actually purchasing for their own retail shop. So keep that in mind. Okay.
So Battle Cries call me out and call me a name dropper. Well, Greg's not here, so somebody has to be a name dropper. And I don't know if Greg is a name to be dropping, honestly. So, and we do have friends, but we don't get to see them right now. So everything, I'm really honestly, for the last like 3 or 4 months, everything I think of is a vacuum of 2 players between just the 2 of us. Yeah. Like, I'm honestly have really kind of passed on a lot of games that are 3 players like or more because I know that.
Eric says, I think the deluxe version will be an empty box to hold 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And then Meeper says, no, it's going to be actually a full-size crate, like a shipping crate, like Indiana Jones style. You have to come out with your crowbar and be like,
It'll be like, you'll have
pull the straw out, and it's going to be in there.
It's going to be in a case that looks like the Ark in there and stuff. Like,
it's going to be in this like big box. You're going to be pulling a bunch of straw out and stuff to get to the game and stuff. And then when you get it, you have to hold it and be like, oh. I used to have friends.
Well,
but actually,
#free Greg.
Funny enough, we were talking to Alan on Discord because our Discord is open, and we will post it in chat at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
But we were talking to Alan about it, and we've been getting more offers for games on Tabletop Simulator and various other online platforms, and so we might need to start hitting up our Discord people and be like, hey, we'd love to play this at 3-player or 4-player or 5-player. Instead of just a 2-player.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you want to get involved in that sort of stuff, make sure and get on our Discord because we will end up like we have, what is it, Night Cage to play? Mm-hmm. And that's going to be on a tabletop simulator thing, and we're going to want to play it.
It's an easy game to teach, and it's fun to play. I'd love to play it at 4.
And we're going to want to play X amount of times before we actually get to the date where we talk about it.
I played it with Kurt Covert, the owner of Smirk and Laughter, and it was fun, but he's no Alan, you know?
All right, DrGloryhogg, would you back this game?
Not at this time. It's one I'm super interested in, but I just can't justify it for what's currently going on.
Chat, would you back this game? I want to know. I'm very curious.
Eric Garcia says that Greg is the Corona patient 0. So Greg's coronavirus actually got coronavirus, so it killed itself off. Aww. So a double negative actually made a positive. So now Greg is totally fine.
And chat, whoever's backing this game, we're coming over to your house to play it. So
That's fair.
just know that.
And Greg is actually healthy and well, for people that want to know.
Yes,
He's
Greg
doing
is
good.
healthy
I
and
talked to
well.
him the other day. Him and his family are all doing very well. They're having a good time playing Lost Cities.
All right, next up, we have Relics of Rajavihara.
You went from like the biggest campaign as far as funding wise to like the smallest campaign. That was a hard take right there.
This is from Crazy Like a Box. It's for one adventure, one solo player, and it should last about 15 to 60 minutes. This is a solo-based puzzle-solving game where you are going to be facing challenges by moving boxes around on a board and trying to get a little gem. And this game here reminds me of something you would almost have like with an app-based game, except I kind of love that it's like this tactile thing like in front of you, where you have these little boxes and all these little levels you go through and you start adding stuff to your board. Like, this game really intrigues me. What were your thoughts?
I could see this being like a Disney property, right? Where you're playing as
like
Indiana Jones and you're pushing
right?
boxes around.
Speaking of the art.
While the Nazis are trying to like, I don't know, get some kind of awesome relic before you. I could see that. So, hard pass for me. And
what?
this shouldn't shock you, but
How dare you, Dr.
A game
Gloryhogg.
that is a puzzle for the sake of being a puzzle doesn't typically interest me. It looks cool. It looks interesting. It's a cool solo game for people that like solo games or puzzle games, but I don't like a puzzle for a puzzle's sake.
Okay.
And that's me personally. Even in like video games, if I'm playing Skyrim and there's like some kind of crazy puzzle, but I'm playing like a warrior that has health, I'm just gonna run through it. Fire be damned.
Here's
I'm just
how
like, light me on fire. I don't even care.
Here's how Dr. Gloryhogg solves puzzles, okay? So I go through and I'm like, oh, okay, if you move this one happens, then over here, and then boom, puzzle solved. Dr. Gloryhogg runs in there and he's like, what does this do? Click, 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 click. Oh my God, it's solved.
And she gets so mad because I do it by going like, click, okay, that changed that. Click, 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 click.
Like just
click,
random.
Click, click,
just
oh, there it is.
100% random stuff happening, but Dr. Gloryhogg has like a 20 in like luck and just automatically gets like a pass on everything for some reason. I'm like, what the heck, Dr. Gloryhogg?
To be fair, I try to explain this to people a lot. I approach a lot of things in my life how I was raised, right? And I was raised as a door kicker in the infantry. So when I see a door and there's a lock, I think to myself, can I kick that wall in? I'm just saying.
Just right to the side.
The proper amount of force, or as we learned in yesterday's show, with the right amount of pedaling, you too can launch over a green belt, over a wall, and into the middle of a major overpass.
Kabuki Kid says, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Games of Fire wants the dice tray, but passing on this. Petter said, you said move boxes around and all. Thought it was the chip challenge on Windows 95. Wow. That's a callback right there.
That's actually funny, Alan. I was not an IED diffuser. So when I actually joined the military, when I took my test and everything, the two jobs I was looking at was either infantry or explosive ordnance disposal specialist. And they said, well, which one do you want to do? And I was like, well, what's the differences? And they said, well, if you want to be an explosive ordnance disposal specialist, it's a 6-year commitment and there's a $4,000 bonus and you'll ship out at the end of the year. I said, if you want to do infantry, you can ship out in 20 days. There's a $15,000 bonus and it's a 4-year commitment. I went for that money, baby. And I regret it ever since because I would have like some real valuable skills as a bomb diffuser.
For this game right here, gives me a vibe of Santorini, which I love, says David. David, I 100% agree with you.
And Santorini's fine. It's just not one of my go-to games.
I really, really am excited about this game because
you're a nerd.
If you can play a game like this on an app, you're like, okay, click, push buttons and everything, but actually having it in person and working those things out in person and seeing the 3D lay of it all and everything, I think adds a really fun factor to this game. And I love the fact that they have the different boxes to have a sort of legacy style feel to this game where you're going to be opening up new challenges and new things happening so then your game doesn't get old. When I was looking at it, although there's like, 10 levels or something like that, there's a whole bunch of different challenges. I want, if I find it as I go down, I think there was like 60 challenges or something. I don't know.
Well, I know there's 50 levels, and then there's
that might be
things.
it. 50 levels, and then as you're going through, it's not just going to be the same pushing boxes around. You're going to have to solve different puzzles with different tokens and icons and everything. Like, I am so excited about all this.
Alan's calling me out, but it looks like Joe's actually here. So Joe's inspiration was like Zelda, Fire and Ice, Adventures of Loho. I've never played Stockbond before, but many have said it reminds them of this. And I could see if you are a puzzler, right, there is something to be said about moving physical boxes around.
Right,
is
right.
more fun than probably just doing it on your phone.
Exactly. And
that's fair.
Like I said, this would make both an excellent app-based game, but I love it so much more as an actual game in front of me because of that. You know, because if it was just an app game, it would be almost feel like simplified because there's something different about just pressing things on the screen versus actually seeing it all happen in person. You push a box and then a box drops, then you can get on that. Or as you go through and like, I love the Zelda puzzles. So, like, thank you. That's 100% my thing. That's my jam right there, okay?
I loved leveling up and fighting monsters in Zelda, but the puzzles were not my favorite thing. I just wanted to get through them.
Puzzles were great.
But I love running around the world and collecting all the different spiders and masks and doing all the other different stuff, but I did not enjoy... I love side quests. That's probably because I have ADD. But I love side quests, but I do not enjoy puzzles the same way.
So let's see here. We have Zirconia Moon. Hello. This seems like a phone game in tabletop form. That's exactly what I was thinking here. What else do we have? Puzzle games on Steam that are $10, but moving to physical crates so much nicer than hitting the keyboard. I totally agree.
So Alan says this one seems neat to him, but he worries that it might tire out quickly. You know, I felt that same way about The Crew, because The Crew has like 50 different things that you can do, and it's a trick-taking game, card game. But even just changing the mechanics, just a slight
tiny
amount
bit.
Every single time you play it, actually did a lot better than I thought. And I didn't get tired of The Crew. So I don't know if I get tired of this one, because it does look like you change just enough every single level to make it where it's a new puzzle.
So the base game on this here is $32, which I think is actually a really good price because...
It's almost worth it just for the little tiny boxes.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying like the little tiny boxes alone are going to be, I mean, it's plastic.
I could get out my Jurassic Park unmatched characters and hide raptors behind the boxes, and then you can move a box and a raptor can attack you. It's all good.
Oh my gosh, the boxes can be used for other things, everyone. I didn't even think about that.
I'm getting out my Legos after this.
So I feel like the components that you're getting in it and everything, I feel like that's a pretty reasonable price because of all the different styles of boxes that you're getting. And plus, you know, since they do have each level boxed in individual boxes as well, that all adds to the whole thing with cards and, you know, cardboard and everything. So when I first looked at this, I thought, oh man, like this is such a small game, like why isn't it less expensive? But as I started tallying up everything that was included in it, I was like, oh no, this is priced the right price for this.
Value proposition wise, $30 makes sense to me. I just, you know, you have to be a person that likes puzzles.
Also, 100% try it first on Tabletop Simulator. Heck yes, I love when companies do this, everyone. After the 50 levels of the campaign, you are open to a replayable challenge, thousands of combinations of new adventures, plus a build-your-own level variant.
Which, that's always cool. I always like doing that in games.
That's so fantastic, Joe.
Excite bike, make my own levels.
Well, then it becomes a community-based thing where the community can contribute to that on BGG and go, hey, I made this level. This is here for anybody to go ahead and solve it. And that becomes like an amazing community experience. I'm so excited about this game.
I know you're excited about that. I feel like that if I went onto a community puzzle, I just find out that there's people way smarter than me, and I'd be like,
and you're like, dang it.
Hey, there's different types of intelligences, and I've been told I have a different type of brain. Wait, does that sound right?
Oh my gosh.
That sounds fine.
You know what? Thank you so much for joining us today, Joe. We really appreciate it whenever the publishers and designers and stuff can come out to our show and interact with everybody in chat and kind of give us things that we might not, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying, I saw Go Fatherhood Single Dad Under Construction. I haven't heard of that channel, so I want to check that out.
Oh, okay. We'll have to look at that later.
I might keep this up later so I can look at it. I always like finding like newer reviewers and stuff because the big guys are great, of course, but I mean, after a certain point in time, you kind of feel like you know what they're going to say, and you almost don't even need to watch them.
Let's see here. I was looking at chat here. Okay, Petter says, I love that this is on TTS. Now I need to try it here. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. If you can get just that one introductory play in, sometimes on Tabletop Sim, sometimes that makes all the difference of a game. Like, you just need that final decision maker where you get onto like a TTS and go, oh, okay, I like this. Like, I like the way the mechanics behave all together. Like, this is fun.
Well, what's the number one thing that Greg always says? You want to
try it before you buy it,
right? So I think that if you can try the game, it always opens up completely different things. There's been a lot of games that I've been like, not sold on, and then when I played them, I was like, okay, this is good. And vice versa. There's been games that I've been like, oh man, I can't wait to get this to the table, and I get to the table, I'm like, I don't know if this works for me. So it is always nice to be able to get to try it.
And then the difference between this and the Thrill Seeker Pledge is you're getting 20 additional new challenge bonus levels. So you're getting more content with that, and really not for that much extra.
And you get Joe's phone number.
Holy cow.
That's not bad. Yeah.
You get Joe's personal phone number to ask for, you know,
Any game
special
questions you
puzzles.
have, right?
Special
I'm
puzzles,
sure that's it.
game questions, absolutely.
Joe will come to your house, set up the game for you.
And then teach you how to play.
Yeah.
So
That's if I ever made a game, I would make one super deluxe pledge that was like $10,000, and it's like, but if you do that, I will fly to your house and hang out with you for a 3-day weekend and play the game with you as much as you want.
Joe's like, no.
$10,000, I'll come play a game with you. And I say $10,000 because the flights are expensive. All right.
So, Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back this game?
No, because of the puzzle aspect.
Okay,
I just
because
don't
you're
like
just
puzzle
not a
games.
good puzzler. Yeah, you like you
Plus,
not.
it's solo, which I mean, I know you'll play this as a solo
Right.
game. I still struggle playing solo games. There's some that I've dabbled into, but I don't immediately think of a board game when I have solo time, if you will.
So, I want to back this game.
I know
as
you
soon,
do.
yeah, as soon as I saw it come up and everything, I started reading with the mechanics and everything. This immediately just came out and like grabbed me. I was like, oh, okay, I really like
It
this.
physically
Like,
shaked you. It shook you down. It's like, where's your partner? Where's your partner? Okay. Playing too much Fortnite.
yeah, too much Fortnite for you, Dr. Gloryhogg.
So see, Joe's gonna make that pledge now, $10,000, and Joe will come play for a 3-day weekend at your house with you. I've honestly, so some of the board game table Kickstarters have done that, where they'll like actually come to your house and set it up.
Oh yeah.
And although I don't have the money for it, if I get to the point
if
where
you
I
could,
do,
you're like, yes,
I
please.
would love to have
Yes, please.
like Wormwood come to my house and set up the table for me, and I could just be like, yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, now get out. Like, how great would that be to have somebody set that table? I mean,
You wouldn't hang
that's-
out with them and play a game. You'd just be like, all right, now get out. I need to play this game
Yeah,
now.
I want that table
We're
to
setting
myself.
up Scythe right now.
to take my tasteful photos on.
So in our chat, I want to know who is going to be backing this game
Yeah.
because I think I'm in, and you know if
Yeah, I figured you would back this
I
one.
get this game to my table and stuff, I think it would also be fun to say, oh, I got the X level or X level, you know, I'm having challenges on, and share that in our Discord and our community and
Remember,
stuff, and
it
do
was kind
stuff
of
like that.
on Twitter there for a while that if you did anything in Ganchan Clever, you had to post about it. You're like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
scored
right?
170, I scored 300.
Petter's-
It was a big thing, and I missed out on it. And when I got to play the app later, I kind of was like, aw.
Petter says, I try before I buy, but you have the TTS, so you're good to go, right, Petter?
Which I think, man, honestly, if we weren't already playing games in order to to showcase them, to spotlight them, if you will, out for everybody, then I would be on Tabletop Simulator a lot more
Oh,
to play some of
absolutely.
these games.
Absolutely.
But, I'm already learning other games like at least twice a week.
Mepper says, I think I'll back it. Kabuki Kid says, never heard of this before, so this show made me spend my money. Well, that's what we're good at. Kabuki
We got
Kid.
Kabuki to open up the wallets. Nicely done.
Indeed.
Now, if we just get our cut from Joe.
TTS is for the Ascension tactics. We're totally going to get to that later. I'm so excited. Well, okay, no, I can't tell you. I can't tell you yet. Jeez, Petter, trying to reveal the show before we get there. All right, do you have anything else you want to say on this? Good job. Good job, Joe. You did an excellent job on this campaign. I'm super excited about it. Moving
David's
on.
in.
David is in. This looks intriguing, but I don't really do solo board games. The typical PC or video game instead.
That's kind of where I'm at, but eventually I'll run out of good games.
I do have one thing to say about the solo portion of this game. I feel like if it was a 2-player game, I would just get angry.
Right, because I would move
you
the
would be
boxes
there and
the
I'd
wrong
be
way.
like, no.
Did you? If no one saw our
No.
Quirky Circuits, like it gets weird whenever I try to help.
It does get really weird when you try to help.
We work really
on
well together,
those.
like peanut butter and chocolate, but we also think like peanut butter and chocolate.
yeah.
So it makes it difficult. When we play games like The Mind and stuff, I always end up linking up, or if I play like Codenames, with somebody else way better than I do with my own wife.
Yeah.
Because we always get to the same end goal, but
In
she thinks
completely
about it
different
in
ways.
6 different roundabout steps, and I'm like, tree 7, tree 7, and she's like, yeah, it's complicated.
Listen, Petter, that dog was very excited, and he was doing little tail spins and stuff, okay? This is a very excited dog.
So she was playing Quirky Circuits with our daughter, and they were spinning around, and my kid was getting so frustrated that they couldn't get the dog to move and get stuff, that she was like, hold on, I got this. I got this, Mommy. I'm going to play all the cards. And then she turned into a solo game.
Yeah.
Which a solo game of
like,
that doesn't
"Thanks."
really make a lot of sense.
Thanks.
Because I don't think you can play that solo, because then you're just playing out cards that move it, and you know exactly what's happening. That doesn't make a
No,
lot
I
of...
think you can play it solo. I'm going to
Yeah,
go
I
back
don't-
and look now.
I don't know how.
Nick from AEG. This is for 1 to 4 players. It should last about 90 minutes, and maybe our video will play today. I don't know. I guess not.
So Luke's saying is we could make 2 different puzzles and then challenge each other. I feel like she would solve my puzzle way too quickly.
Did it go? Okay, it went on. I mean, it's not super
Listen,
intriguing.
you
this
don't
first
wanna
part.
rush a
I'm
pirate,
sorry. I'm
okay?
sorry. Well,
You're not intrigued by stormy seas and a pirate ship? Yo ho ho, am I
There's
right?
been a lot of pirate games lately.
There has been a lot of pirate games.
You know what? If you wanted to be a pirate, this year is your year.
What was it last
right?
year? We were talked about how every single episode we had
dinosaurs.
we had $100 plus like dungeon delve.
Oh yeah, that's
single,
true.
Every single week.
Minis.
This week or this year, it's been all pirates. Just
art by Ian O'Toole.
Pirates.
Such great art. I love
Ian's
art.
Draw art for something. He's on like everything. It seems like he draws
art.
everything.
I think pretty much everybody likes his art. So this is a really interesting game here because this is a deck building
card crafting, which is
there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Card crafting deck building game, and that's kind of what runs the game, but you're doing like a million other things in this game, okay? You're doing area control, you're doing some battling in this game, like you're trying to don't you outfit your little ship or something, or like there's so many things going on in this game.
So this game is a card crafting game, right? So card crafting / deck builder.
Right.
Most people are going to be familiar with the term deck builder, but you're upgrading your cards. That's why it's card crafting. So that's something that I saw kind of first in like, not Ascension, but I saw it in the other one, Shards of Infinity, where you weren't physically changing the cards, but you had different levels you could reach on your basic cards, so your basic cards were not just completely useless.
Eric says, okay, I'm trying not to buy everything. Well, not today, Eric.
Well, this one is interesting because not only does it have like that kind of card crafting, deck building, but it's also a 4X game where you're doing, exterminate, expand, explore, all the X's.
So Ellen says card crafting like Canvas. So yes and no, kind of, because
yeah, I can see that.
What you end up doing is you have some cards that you put in there, and then they get labeled as something, and then you can upgrade those cards as they get better.
But you just slide in transparent cards,
right?
And then you can also
sleeves.
flip them and turn them upside down. There's different things you can do with them. Of course, it's really akin to Mystic Vale because it's the same designer.
Exactly.
So if you've played Mystic Vale, it's like that. And I play Mystic Vale online, which kind of, although it makes it easier because you don't have to mess with the fiddliness of sliding cards around and everything like that, I don't mind it. As a Magic player, I've sleeved millions of cards, so having to flip a card every once in a while in a game doesn't bother me personally.
Okay, so here we go. Here's how it kind of looks whenever you're building your cards together and you're upgrading them as you go along. So you're able to have those sleeves there, and then you end up like switching the cards around. And then those are going to give you better abilities as you go through the game here. In the gameplay, you can explore, expand, extract, and exterminate as usual as you're going along. I like the fact that the little islands that you have, they're like not your islands. You have to go in there and you actually have to like win them over and stuff.
Yeah, and that's where you get your cards from. There's not like a central row that you just draft from.
Right, exactly.
Which is fine, but it takes you out of the mechanics of the game, right? If there's just like, oh, this is the drafting row. Like, no, you've got to go like discover those cards and upgrades.
The exterminate portion, this had me like a little nervous because DrGloryhogg and I don't always like playing like super head-to-head battle games because it gets intense, and we don't always want to be super intense with each other. But with this particular one, you don't have to go head-to-head all the time. Like, you're also taking down merchant ships and all sorts of other stuff as you're going along.
Fortifications.
Right.
Plus, with this exterminate in particular, this is set up like Scythe, where you have different objectives you're trying to hit, and when you hit 4 of them, I believe, that triggers endgame. So the one thing I liked about Scythe, well, I mean, I like a lot of things about Scythe. I like that game a lot. But I liked that there was different options, right? So you can just go, like where you're trying to build up economy, you can go while you're exploring. You can just try to build up your own personal card pool and not even have to fight. But if the opportunity comes up, like inside, it makes sense to attack. And with this one, I really like that there's like a dice towery type thing where you drop your cubes into it.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
And it hits different parts of the ship.
Hold on, that was right here. Okay. That was right here.
So what you're doing is you drop these like cubes in there and it hits different parts of the ship.
That's your battle.
And you're trying to hit the different victory conditions, right? The little crowns, because if you get enough of those, you win the battle. But what I love about this is it's so thematic, because if you're on a ship and it's rolling and you're trying to turn and you're trying to adjust windage on a cannon and fire that, you hope to hit the ship, but the whole idea was just to hit the ship. You're not going to be able to hit the mast sail. You're not going to be able to hit like specific parts. You're just trying to hit the ship in general.
You're basically well, as you're...
It's spray and pray.
Exactly, because that's how cannon is. You know, you light up your cannon and you throw a bunch of junk in there and then you blast it at the other ship and hopefully it just hits some parts of the ship.
And I love that when you're doing this, like you can either straight up get a victory, right? You can get like parts of their ship gets like kind of messed up. You can get resources, like basically like you blow
Right.
up parts of the ship, and even some can backfire on you, or like maybe you shot the ship like too close to you, and some of that wood splintered off and took out one of your cannons or something, or one of your crewmen. I think that's really cool, and I understand that people that are super strategic tactical gamers like you might struggle with a little bit of randomness in that. But there are cards that also mitigate, and you get to determine how many of those cubes you drop too. Because you get to decide when that battle happens how many cubes you drop by what kind of forces you bring with you.
So I want to go over some of our chat stuff here. Okay, so
sorry.
Kabuki Kid is very curious about this here. Let's hear. Petter, yeah, no head-to-head battle games like Ascension Tactics.
We do it
I
sometimes.
like how you're calling me out on that, Petter, and we'll go over that here soon because it's, I deserve to be called
So
out
I
on
agree
that.
with Meeper, where Meeper is going to wait until the end to see what all the different daily unlocks are before
Stuff
they
you're
decide
getting.
if they want to go deluxe or not. I think with
Totally
this one,
fair.
you'd be happy either way, because it looks like some of the other stuff is like more expansions and more replayability, which I feel like we've discussed before. A lot of times, I love deluxe versions of games, but some games you just don't need more of unless you just know that that's a game your family or your group is going to play constantly.
So let's see here. Who said it was an awesome battle system? It was Petter, right? Okay, that is an awesome battle system.
Yeah.
And Ellen says exterminate is okay if you have a strategic choice to do it.
Yes.
Not because it's the only path to victory. And
Agreed.
that's exactly how this plays
I
out.
don't like it where it's like the only way to win is by attacking each other. I like it when it's
Right.
like you strategically do it because you're like, this is a good opportunity. I'm going to take it because it makes sense.
And that's exactly how this plays out with this. And then it adds that whole battle tactic with the ship and everything and the cubes, which I thought was really, really interesting. It does add a bit of randomness to it. But as we were kind of going over this, there are a few things you can do to help mitigate it with cards, I think. So that's helpful.
Yes, and if you do this, your ship's not completely sunk. You're just you're not out of the game. You just lose gold and you go back to
You're
port
like,
and
I
stuff.
lost my battleship.
Right, so the idea is that you're thematically the idea is that you'd be limping away from the battle, like we're taking too much damage, let's get out of there, and you would sail towards the nearest port, and the other people would be like, ha ha, and you'd ride off to go tackle somebody else.
Petter says, I'm so tempted because I do love pirates.
So pirates is
Right?
not our favorite theme, actually.
Yeah, pirates is not our
and
favorite
we've
theme.
seen a lot of them, and we were gonna get Tiny Epic Pirates, but Tiny Epic Pirates is a very small rondelle style game.
Right, which we love the rondelle on
I feel
that
like
one.
this is gonna play completely differently.
Oh, yeah.
I love deck building and card crafting
I knew
so
it,
much.
yeah,
It's my favorite mechanic,
Yes.
probably. But she doesn't. It's always a hard sell.
Well-
There always has to be something else added to it.
Right,
like
right.
Clank or Tyrants of the Underdark, which has area control. Clank has dungeon delving, kind of going after something. So I thought, man, if there's this is probably the only way I can convince you to play it. Because this is a Euro game with card crafting in it. Because you're
And-
upgrading your ship, you're building settlements, you're unlocking extra speed. This is 100% a Euro-style game with that Amerithrash style card crafting in it.
That's 100% exactly why I love this game. Because
Yes. Oh.
there's deck building there, but
I
if
was
it
worried.
was just deck building, I would not like this game. But since the deck building leads directly into a plethora of amazing choices that I
Right,
can
with a
make.
variety of options to take for path to victory, too.
Right, and not
Side
only
style.
that, but each play is going to be different with where you place things and everything, so you're going to have so much replayability there that the further I delved into this, the further I dug into this game, the more and more I loved it. I was just like, wow. Like, this isn't always a theme I would pick. Deck
Right.
building isn't always a mechanic that I pick for driving force.
Yeah, because you
And-
typically don't like them as much.
Exactly. And as I got to the bottom of this, I was like, wow, AEG did some really, really amazing and fun new things with this game. And they made a really enjoyable game out of just taking these deck building mechanics and making them into something more and something even out of deck building where you're card crafting within that deck building
Right,
portion.
because Mystic Vale, Shards of
Right.
Infinity, Crave, Terrors of London, at their heart, they're just a deck building game. And you know what you're doing. You're going to get cards from the center row with resources, attack the other player or something else, gather sometimes the crystals, something like that. You're going to play all 5 of your cards. They get shuffled out. You get new 5 cards over and over again. What's unique about this one, too, is you don't have to play out your whole hand. It's not just drawing your hand and then playing all 5 of your cards or however many cards you get. You can save them. So you can only play a card or 2 and save up your combat cards so that when you do want to go against somebody, you want to go broadsides with them, you have the advantage because you've got multiple cards you can play.
Pirates are
Did you know that?
so hot this year.
I don't know if you
Pirates are
saw that
so
part.
hot.
That you don't have to spend all of your cards. So you don't have like that luck based of like,
That-
I hope I
yeah.
get the right cards at the right time. You can save the right cards for the right time instead.
I like that. Doctor, why are you talking me into this, says Petter?
I'm not trying to, but this for me, hands down, is the one that I want to back.
Luke says this game looks like a lot of fun. My only gripe is the exclusive FOMO aspect. If you decided to get the base game and later you'd like the expansion, you're out of luck. No, that's definitely a Kickstarter thing for sure. What was the base price on this? It was $99. Okay, let's see here. Let's go down here, right?
The base pledge was $79.
Deckhand. Okay, so $79. Why did I put $99 on here?
And then $109 for the legendary one, which at this point...
I started at the legendary version. I'm thinking, oh, yeah.
So right now I'm looking honestly at the deckhand version of it until I see something in the legendary version that makes me have to make that jump.
Okay.
The legendary version, they're doing daily unlocks. Like one of them is a ghost ship battle instead. Like, so that box would be a ghost ship instead. So I think you'd have both.
Okay.
Which is cool, but it's not something that I have to have. Alan brought up value though, right? Because Alan really tracks that value in Kickstarters versus not. This is going to be a $100 game. There you go. That's probably why you got it. It's going to be a $100 game at MSRP, right? So, and it's $79 on the Kickstarter. It's not exponential. It's probably going to be about a wash with shipping. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel good about backing this one, where sometimes you always kind of feel iffy. I feel like I'm getting enough value at $79 that this is worth backing. I think it's going to be a unique game.
I'd back this at $79, 100%. This was my number 1, and my number 2 was Rajavihara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was worried that this wasn't going to be up there. That's
Spoilers,
good.
everyone.
That's good. Okay.
Spoilers.
Well, I'm excited because I really
This was my number 1 because
I like deck building and card crafting.
You know, the area control in this game and going through and then being able to hit all the ships and be sneaky about everything.
And exploring.
Yes, and then like being able to actually upgrade certain things to your own tactics and stuff. I was like, all right, this is my jam.
And I like card crafting games because you can, like, I like that deck building aspect of making your own deck, right?
Right.
It's the best part of playing like limited Magic, where you're like trying to build a deck, but you do that as part of the game.
And
it's
it's
really
got
cool.
plenty of booty in there for everyone for $79.
Ooh.
Also, if you're not sure you want the deluxe portion, you can always get it at $79 and then just wait until the backer kit or whatever it is comes up and switch your pledge then. Like, there's nothing wrong with that because they're already funded. They're not hurting for any sort of funding or anything like that. So if you change your mind later, like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I think this is the second most funded one.
How about chat? Are you guys backing this? Dr. Gloryhogg, are you backing this?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm in for the $79 specifically. And then if enough stuff gets unlocked, I'll jump to the other pledge.
Oh no, Ascension Tactics is going stiff.
I feel like, because when I look at all these different games that we looked at, right, I feel like realistically this is the one I'm going to be the most excited to play, and I'm going to get to the table the most because it is a Euro-y style game. So
Kabuki,
I feel like I can get you to play it.
We are a dangerous, dangerous channel for Kickstarters, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Mepper says, in the frequently asked questions, they mentioned that there might be an all-in pledge level added near the end, so be sure that all the add-ons will be added in that and everything. That'll be interesting. Okay, that'll be interesting to see. This game definitely belongs in my collection. This is going to be a table pleaser too. So when people are walking by and seeing you play this game, they're immediately going to want to know what you're playing. You're going to make new friends wherever you're at. Like, it's going to bring people to your table, which is a really, really good thing. Or it's going to bring new gamers to your table, which is a fantastic thing too. Yeah, because this game looks entertaining right off the table.
And it's modular, right? You get to build things up. You get to like, okay, I want to go ahead and do this. I want to build this up. I want to make my ship bigger, move my ship farther, carry more cargo, deliver more cargo, whatever it is you want to do. And I'm a big proponent for games that have combat to have some slight random element. Now, not so much that you just feel like the combat's completely random, but realistically, there's stuff that happens in combat you just can't expect or plan for. So you bring the best force you can and then react when you're on the field.
Absolutely. So Alan says this is my number 1 this week as well.
Okay.
Petter says I'm holding off for now, but this one that I'm getting reminded at about 48 hours. Good, yeah, because you can click that reminder button on there. We also have Kabuki Kid just block the channel now and walk away. Wow, battle cry.
Don't block our channel, please. We need our subscribers.
This channel is here to suck your wallet dry. You know what? What we need to do is we just need to have a collective, get together with some people in your area and have some other people purchase the Kickstarters you also want to play.
We tried that with Greg and it did not work. Because he just backs a lot less. I will say though, seriously, if you're thinking about unsubscribing from us, you saw what happened yesterday on my own. You don't want me to keep making videos like that. Please continue to be an active chat.
Please like and subscribe to the channel and make sure that Dr. Gloryhogg does not remain as the sole contributor to the channel.
Because I looked at the chat that day, and there was nothing but crickets for that particular moment. I was like, I have nothing to go off of. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble.
Eric says, Glory Math Trade. And Eric, I have actually considered considered organizing that on my channel. I just don't think we have enough people just yet to do something like that. But I have 100% thought of that before, because if you get a game and it just is not your jam, like, why not be able to trade it in a community of people that you already kind of know what they like and they know what you like and stuff, and you'll be able to talk to those people. So 100%,
you can definitely do that on our Discord too. If you just have a game that you're like, hey, I got this game.
Like, anybody want to make any trades or anything?
Yeah,
like,
and I think that's a really good,
totally free,
really good thing that Discord can be used for. Honestly.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a few of my friends do that. We usually don't back the same game, right? That's super awesome.
Zirconia Moon. That's very sweet.
You're so sweet.
We try hard. It's honestly a lot of work, but I love it. And
and we love interfacing with everybody in chat.
Hopefully at some point in time, this will overcome my other job, and then I can devote even more time to it and even give you more bike stories.
Have you watched the Ascension Tactics thing here? Okay, first off, I'm going to tell you all, I was like, when I went to watch this, I was like in a panic, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I was so excited. Like, I was falling out of my chair watching this.
She has this thing about if someone says the word tactics, she gets all excited about it and like starts to like get feverishly hot. Yeah.
A tactics game.
And I don't know why that is, that particular word. But, you know, I like deck builders, so I see that and I get excited.
Okay, when I saw Ascension Tactics, a tactical game in the Ascensions universe, and then I saw, bam, World of Warcraft miniatures game, I was like, what?
Now I just want to play that game.
Hold on here. Hold on one moment.
You didn't know that existed?
No, I'm just saying, hold on one moment. Like, I love the fact that they are going to have such fantastic miniatures in this game.
Gotcha,
and it's going to look freaking amazing. It's going to look amazing. So, as I was delving into this game, well, actually, hold on. This is for 1 to 4 players, and it should last about 90 minutes. As I was delving into this game, you were essentially playing a version of Ascension. So if you're really familiar with the game Ascension, you're going to...
They've been putting out expansions for 10 years.
Right.
So you probably have played it at
You're
some point.
going to get involved in this game very, very quickly, okay? And then they're adding a tactical-based game to it. So you are actually going to be fighting with your players here. You're going to be buffing them. You're going to be using those cards out on an actual battlefield and be taking people out. And then all of these characters come from the Ascension universe.
Which is really cool.
If you are super involved in Ascension, this is awesome because it's going to have your characters coming to life. Like, certain combinations of characters and stuff that you love are going to be in a 3D format. Oh my gosh, Kabuki, you've never played Ascension? Oh my goodness.
So, I want to talk a little bit about Ascension, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Stoneblade Entertainment makes a couple different games, right? And I feel like you kind of fall into one of two camps.
Okay.
There's the Shards of Infinity camp.
Yes.
Which is a more direct battling game where you're actually fighting against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the Ascension camp, which is where you're trying to collect soul gems, I believe they are. You're collecting gems. And there's not really like a whole bunch of direct fighting. You can sometimes blow up somebody's artifacts or something, but there's not a bunch of direct fighting. Ascension was the perfect deck builder. I pulled it out, and within 15 minutes, I was already playing it.
Yes.
The base game.
Yeah, because it's super fast.
And I was playing it with, I think my kid was maybe like 7 at the time, and we played it immediately, and it was fun. The problem I have with Ascension is, with the base game, is it felt too easy to just figure it out super early. Like, there are certain cards that you're like, okay, these cards are just good, and these other ones are not as good. And I got kind of bored with it quickly.
And that was with the base.
Now,
the base
to be fair, we had played Shards of Infinity before, which is like also like a 4-player. You know, we played it at 3-player or 4-player, and with the direct combat of fighting each other and trying to keep up shields while attacking each other and then doing different things in your graveyard, Ascension definitely came out first. Then Shards of Infinity came out, and I feel like Shards of Infinity improves on everything that Ascension did enough so that I am in the Shards of Infinity camp, not the Ascension camp. It's like the difference between strawberry jelly and grape jelly. You like one or the other. It's not that you can't enjoy both, but you definitely like one or the other. So, although I think Ascension's fun and I've played it, it's not my #1 deck builder.
So Petter says, I love Ascension, but I like it for the simplicity, pure deck building, and I'm torn on this one.
Perfect for that.
Because it seems cool, but it's going to be more than I'd want to get to the table. And that's really interesting.
Because you could play Ascension in probably 30 minutes.
Well, and that's going to be...
You can't play this, and this is going to be an hour and a half.
It's going to be really interesting, because Ascension is a pure deck building game, and it plays really well. It's really easy to get into and everything, but I feel like...
It's exactly what you think of in a deck builder game.
It's going to have this peak. And there's going to be people on both sides of the peak. So the people who really like Ascension, like Petter, are just not going to want to go up to the tactics peak. And the people that want tactical games, I don't know if they're going to want to go over to the pure deck building peak, you know?
Right. It's a weird combination. It's not necessarily bad. I mean, I've seen that combination work well in other games.
I like the combination, though, because, okay, so Shadespire, it reminds me of a Shadespire style game, except for Shadespire, you're building, your deck is already built for you. Like, you've already built it out, and then you use those cards to move around the board and then take out your opponents. Like, I 100% feel like this is going to be an easier version of Shadespire because of that. Because in Shadespire, you still have where you're controlling lots of different miniatures and stuff on the board. And I don't know if you're going to have as many miniatures. You're going to be building it as you go. I don't know.
And Shadespire is a Games Workshop game.
Yeah, that's a Games Workshop game.
For people that don't know about
many are super familiar with Games Workshop games. That's true. I'd forget about that.
Because that's now you're leaning on the miniatures community a little bit more. Like I said, I enjoy Ascension, but the base game got too easy too fast for me because I had played harder deck builders since then. And so for me, I guess, here's a good case in point. I played Ascension probably 10 to 15 times the first 2 or 3 weeks after I first opened up and played it, right? And then immediately after that, I went online to find out which were the necessary expansions to add to it to just bring some extra options into it. And so I bought another expansion or two, and that helped the longevity of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And there's been 10 years of expansions, but I needed to find expansion to augment the game to make it more enjoyable for me. And that's just me personally, but I had already played stuff like Shards of Infinity and stuff, and fighting against an opponent versus drafting out of the middle is completely different.
I really want to go over some of our comments that we have here. So Ellen says, okay, so no, but I'm not that big into minis, says Mepper. I received the Ascension game in a math trade, but have not played it yet, David says.
It's really easy to get into.
Yeah, totally get into that game. Dig in it. It's very fast.
Light game. I mean, you can play it while watching TV
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play. So Kabuki says, I have a lot of fondness for tactical combat games. But not sure if they're going to be backing this. They do love Shadespire, though.
And Alan said that he's been leaning more towards peoples over minis in a lot of these campaigns, which I can understand.
I can totally understand that as well.
In Games of Fire plays the app version, which I probably play the app version of Ascension more than the regular version now, because once I got the app, I was like, oh, this is so much easier just to push the buttons and play the app on my phone versus playing it in person.
Now, Petter brings up a really big thing. This is one I really want to try on TTS because I might find out that it's what I want for a tactics game. That is another thing I want to mention. This is on Tabletop Simulator. So you can go to TTS and you can try this game before you buy it. And I think this is where this game is going to shine because you're going to be able to see how the mechanics of the cards are directly influencing and affecting what's happening on the board. And I feel like if you don't know that portion, you're kind of left with, is it going to be too much this way? Is it going to be too much that way?
Yeah,
on that Ascension peak that we have here. Because
they're two different worlds, I feel like.
Yes and no, because I really like tactical games that go directly with cards versus...
Right, but you also don't like deck builders typically. And I shouldn't say don't like, but you always find them too simplistic. You don't want to play them. They're not your first choice.
Right, but this is different because
mixing the two.
In a tactical... I like the tactical portion of this because it adds to the deck building. Do you think it'll make the game
better, though? Or do you feel like they're just trying to mash two things together and it won't work?
For me, I think it's going to make the game insanely better because if I don't have the right combination of cards at the right time, I can always out-tactically maneuver somebody. I know that I'm better at the tactical portion and maneuvering minis around a board than I am at the deck building portion. And so I'm going to rely on maneuvering myself and getting in some big hits as opposed to getting the right combination of things.
Okay.
But seeing the balance in person on a tabletop simulator style game is really going to be where it shines for me and where I'm going to make my final decision on this one, I think, because I'm 100% interested in this game. Don't get me wrong. I love Shadespire. I love the idea of a deck that's built and then using that to maneuver minis on a board. However,
but with Shadespire as a example,
I can't see it in person right now. I don't know the feel of it, and I feel like that's a big portion for me with miniature games.
With Shadespire, you make your deck ahead of the game. It's not part of the game. You're not drafting cards out of a middle row or anything.
Right,
so
but I think they would still be exciting though.
Right, but this one you're gonna be drafting out of the middle, which is more my cup of tea, but not yours. So I don't know. I don't know.
But I'm still excited about that.
I'm not 100% sold. I'm not sold enough to just hit the back button, I think is what I should say.
So Eric says, I'm worried that this is going to go in the closet with all my Sentinel tactic stuff. Oh.
And Battlecry knows you're talking about me whenever you say that you're going to outmaneuver somebody. Okay, that's fair.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
Kabuki, the problem is we were interested in a lot of these games too, but realistically, I know that I'm going to want to hit the back button on one of them, and for me, since she also likes Dead Reckoning, I'm definitely going to back Dead Reckoning at the 79, and I'm pretty sure she's going to back Relics.
So, Kabuki Kid, yeah, this show here, as I went through it, I'm like, man, I am hardcore on all three of these, and somehow Ascension Tactics came in third. I don't even know how that happened, because I was like 100% full on when I first saw this campaign come out. I was like, oh my god,
so this
hitting
week
the roof.
She built this list herself
I
this
built
week.
this list
And
this week.
I thought before getting into all the games, Ascension Tactics just immediately was like, oh, going top of my list. But
this is a hardcore Gloryhound list, everyone.
then when I went and I saw the Dead Reckoning, I was like, you know what? Between the two, I'm going to probably find more enjoyment playing Dead Reckoning.
Yes.
And going to get it to the table more than this other one.
And I think that's why Dead Reckoning ended up being our number one, is just because
you have to make that comparison.
I knew, that for us as a family unit, that Dead Reckoning would come out more, because I have Shadespire sitting on my shelf, and
we just don't play it a lot.
We don't play it a lot, and I want to get it to the table, but I don't think you like Shadespire as much as I do. Like, I am
I don't like
super
it as much
into
as you. It's a
I'm
medium
so
for
into
me,
it.
right? It's like a 5. Like, I'll play it, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, let's go play this.
I think me and the kid like Shadespire way more than you do.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I really like Blood Bowl. So I'll play Blood Bowl.
That's true.
So it's hard. But a lot of those miniature games, I like them better when they have a PC version. So like I like Blood Bowl on PC, Blood Bowl 2 on Steam. I really enjoy because I don't have to sit there and manipulate all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
But like I have Malifaux that I really want to play, and we never play that either. So it's just harder to get those miniature games to the table, because it's going to be a couple-hour thing where sometimes we can play multiple board games in that same amount of time.
So speaking directly to Kabuki Kid here,
Directly.
Yeah, because they're saying the fact that anything like Shadespire boosts this a lot, and this isn't Games Workshop, so you're not going to have to buy 15 million expansions after it, okay?
But this is Ascension, and they put out a new expansion or two every year, plus a collector's edition, which are all foil cards that you can get every year.
Kabuki Kid, we should play Shadespire together, 100%. So whenever we meet up sometime in the future,
just play it over Skype or something.
We'll do it. We'll totally do it. That would be a fantastic idea, actually.
If you both have the same figures.
If we have the same figures, one of us, I could go ahead and run the figures. Hold on, that's a whole different conversation. I could run the figures on the table, though, and we could play Shadespire, okay?
Yeah,
I'm down.
That's fine.
I'm totally down with that, everyone.
That's exactly what the Discord is being set up for, so you nerds, you tactical nerds, can play your tactical nerd games. No, and I say nerds in a loving way, because I know I'm a big geek myself.
So everyone in chat, are you backing this, DrGloryhogg?
No, not this time.
Okay.
I'd be willing to try it out, but I'm not sold on it.
Okay. I would really like to back this. I would like to back all 3 games this week.
There's a 4th game you keep forgetting about.
Well, right, but I don't think that we're going to get that one to our table. And out of all of the games here, in the order that I would probably play them would be Dead Reckoning, the Rajavihara, and then Ascension Tactics at this time with the current information I have in my head, Ascension Tactics, as it's fantastical, would rise directly to the top of all of that, because that's
actually a good way of doing it. So if you had all 4 of these games right now, which are the ones you're going to pick up first and want to play first?
And that's exactly how I would do it.
I would definitely play Dead Reckoning. I mean, Relics is something that it's a solo game, so you could pick that up and play it anytime. And then I would definitely do Ascension Tactics. So for me, it would go Dead Reckoning, then Ascension Tactics, because I do like Ascension. It just wasn't enough. There needed to be more added to it for me. And then I would play the other games.
Yeah, and if Ascension Tactics turns out to be everything tactical and deck building that I want in one system, it would be Ascension Tactics, Dead Reckoning, and then Rajavihara, just because it's purely a solo game. And I would probably play the heck out of Rajavihara just because it's solo, and I would just spend alone time and just play through a ton of levels with
all the extra time you've got.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right, with all the extra time I have, everyone.
Yeah. When you're not balancing the two jobs.
You know what? Hey, what list would you guys play this in? I'm interested to know. That's actually a really good way of kind of banking all of this together,
because
with
you
everything.
Can like multiple things, but I try to be as perfectly honest. If I was going to write, I say write the check because I'm old. If I was going to write that check today, which one would I do? And so I try to pick my number one, the one that I'm 100%, let's back this today before we forget. And the other ones are I would like these. I wouldn't mind talking to the publisher, see if we can get a copy of it or something, or see if somebody else has it and play it, and then I might buy it if I like it. But that's always going to happen. There was Heavy Hitters, which was a game that I was interested in. I liked it, but I couldn't spend the $150 or whatever it was whenever we first covered it.
Right,
and then somebody else got it, and I got to play it 2 years later, and I enjoyed it. And now I'm constantly on the search for a good price on it, where if I can find it for like under, like around $80, I'll probably just buy it immediately.
So likely on Dead Reckoning, says Alan. Fun, but I need to see the value. Not feeling strongly on Relics gameplay. No on the Ascension tactics. Leading.
No on Perseverance because of the cost.
Or leaning on. Leaning no on
Alan's
Perseverance.
saying basically mostly likely to do Dead Reckoning, but wants to make sure that the value is there because he can always get it in retail, and then not so super sold on the other ones.
So Petter says Dead Reckoning, Ascension Tactics, and then Relics, and then Perseverance. Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. Luke, Dead Reckoning, Ascension Tactics, Perseverance, and then Relics. This is really interesting. I like these lists. This is good. I like this. And Mepper says, I'm likely on Relics and waiting on the Dead Reckoning.
And to be fair, it's really easy to back something for $30 versus something for $80 or $140.
Totally true.
And if you think about it, if we don't go the Captain's Pledge, we're going to get Relics and Dead Reckoning for the same price that we'd get the Captain's Pledge of Dead Reckoning.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I work in payroll, so I'm not really good with numbers, but, you know.
Well, I hope all of you went ahead and enjoyed this show today. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe to our content. Ring the bell so you're notified whenever we go live, because we talk about Kickstarters weekly, and we do playthroughs on Sundays and Thursdays. What are we playing through this Sunday?
We're going to play Champions of Horror, which I'm really excited about. So Champions of Horror is one that we've had for a little while.
So excited.
We got it when I was still in school, and we've been sitting on it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. It came highly recommended from a friend, so super pumped to play it. We've got it all lined up to play the crap out of it.
So Games of Fire says Dead Reckoning, Perseverance, Ascension Tactics, and Relics. It's really interesting how a lot of people are lining up with what they would want to play in what order. Let's see here. I have an easier time roping in my young kiddo into playing Relics before Ascension Tactics. That's fair.
I like Alan. Do you take a fractional amounts of Ascent to put into a slush fund? You know what? When I saw that movie, I was like, that could work. That could work. I think that's got some factual basis. I would do that. So you're thinking about it from Superman. I'm thinking about it from Office Space, because they did that in Office Space movie too.
Remember too that, let's see here, we had what? It was Ascension Tactics is on Tabletop Simulator. Well, who else was on Tabletop
Relics was on Tabletop Simulator.
So Perseverance is on Tabletopia.
And if you want to see Perseverance, you can see a whole 5-hour playthrough of each one on Heavy Cardboard. Which Edward is a
Edward's
really nice
an
guy.
amazing person, everyone.
I don't want to play a 5-hour game. And I know that he said that a lot of it was because he was teaching it and there was distance and stuff, and it would be much shorter than that normally. And as you know, even just the games we play always go longer because we've stopped to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, what else? There's another game we have coming in.
Well, we have games coming in, but we don't like to announce them until we actually have them in hand. Because sometimes stuff happens, it's going to delay. I'm told
I can't announce them, everyone.
I will ask for one thing. If you have a friend that's super into like Kickstarters or gameplay videos or something like that you know that doesn't know about us, please just share us to them. Like, let them know that we're out here.
Absolutely.
Because the hardest thing is just getting in front of new eyeballs. And I think that once people see the content, they like it, but it's just getting people convinced to look at us when there's these 50,000 subscriber people like Dice Tower, Man vs. Meeple and stuff. It's hard to kind of break out of that pack because we are going a different route. We're not doing reviews.
That's very true. That's very true. So it's like an uphill battle because we're not doing reviews because reviews are so popular. But oh dang it! I lost my point. I'm laughing at
Alan because we were on Discord doing a video chat with Alan yesterday, and he was showing us his crazy matrix of games. This is an Excel spreadsheet of what's coming in and when and how long, and he's got maps and graphs and
oh my gosh, that's the other thing.
And these two were nerding out about it, and they were in love with it. But I was just like, that's cool. I just want to know what games are coming in. But I know like Tidal Blades is going to be coming in at some point in time, hopefully soon. What else? There's other stuff coming in. Oh yeah, share the.
I was going to say keep talking, DrGloryhogg, but not in any weird stories, okay?
I know. I've heard rumors that Tidal Blades will be out in the next couple months. I've heard rumors that I don't know when Dice Throne Adventures is coming out. I know Dinogenics is supposed to be coming out soon. We've got a lot of things that should have landed in the last 3 months that, due to COVID, of course, got kind of held back. But we're gonna play Tidal Blades. We're gonna play Dice Throne Adventures. We're gonna play Dinogenics. We are gonna play. I'm trying to think of one of the other really big ones that's coming in. There's Valor and Villainy from Skybound also that we'll play whenever that one comes out.
All right, everyone. So here's the Discord link.
There's a bunch of games.
Totally join, because if you want to play tactics, like Ascension Tactics on TTS, like get together with some people, see if other people want to play
in Discord and stuff. Like I have chat channels there so people can get connected and talk to people, especially right now where we're not able to actually interact with other gamers within like 6 feet and stuff. Like I want to make sure that everybody is able to play games with everybody and
just talk about Kickstarters and stuff in general. Like, because there's a lot of times where Alan has like messaged me on Facebook with like, hey, did you see this campaign? And sometimes if it happens to fall on a Wednesday and I looked on Tuesday and posted everything, I might have missed it.
Exactly. So make sure to join our Discord because I'm excited about all the stuff that I want to get going on there. And just to be able to talk to people a little bit more collectively and have back and forth conversations with Kickstarters, you know?
Well, it's a more permanent version of what they're doing in chat right now.
Absolutely.
So we can actually go back, because with this, we get to see it while it's playing live, but I mean, I'm not going to go back and watch my own YouTube video. I'm not... My hubris is strong, but not that strong.
You don't go back and watch all your own YouTube videos, Dr.
I'm going to go back and
Gloryhogg?
like and subscribe a
We
million
need those
times.
views. We need those views and those likes.
I tried to convince my kid to watch them, but she doesn't want to hear her dad talk.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so Games of Fire says, I've started a Discord server for content creators and chat peoples to get together. I wanted to make
Kingswood is another one that's coming in.
I wanted to make something where various content creators could join together with people. Games of Fire, if you want to go ahead and drop a link for it, drop it in chat, and then that can be a link too that people can click on. Absolutely. So David says, exciting week. Alan says, you don't find Gloryhound entertaining?
I do find it very entertaining, but generally most of her content off of screen is about the cat, and she talks to the cat a lot, and so sometimes I'm like, hey, I need to finish work. Can you stop talking about the cat and to the cat?
Everybody.
She has full-blown conversations.
Everybody knows that their cat talks to them, okay?
Hey, kitty meow meow, what are you doing over there, kitty meow meow? Oh, you look like a little cinnamon bun, little kitty meow meow. Oh, kitty meow meow, are you hungry? Is little kitty meow meow hungry? Oh, kitty meow meow, you look so angry. It's a thing.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love having all of you in chat and conversing with you.
Except for Alan.
And we will see you all on Sunday whenever we play Champions of Hara. We will talk to you later. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.